Jays win 4-1 over the Oakland Athletics in the first game of a very short 3-game homestand. A relatively low-event baseball game, but in absolutely the best way. I've been singing the praises of the Blue Jays bullpen a lot in the early going, and I'm going to do it a lot more here, so let's get to it. Ross Stripling got the start for the Blue Jays in what was, in every sense, a bullpen day. Ross steps out of the bullpen to be the starter, but he just did the thing that he always does, which is be the long man. He just did it at the start of the game is all. Facing him for the Oakland A's is Dalton Jeffries, who I'd never heard of either. Okay, so maybe it's not Frazier versus Ali, but it does count for exactly as many wins as the Barrios-Cole matchup did a couple days ago, to wit, 1. So definitely one the Blue Jays wanted to have, even if they don't have one of their aces out there. And the Jays waste no time putting their stamp on this game. Stripling with a no fuss, no muss, 3-up, 3-down first inning. And in the bottom half, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. remembers that he's Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Seriously, I don't know what was happening in the last game of the Yankees series. Maybe he celebrated a little bit too hard after his mammoth night the previous night, but he just did not look like himself in Game 4 in the Bronx. In this one, yeah, he looks like himself. A massive oppo shot to right center field puts the Blue Jays up 1-0 early. Stripling again cruises in the second, because, listen, I don't want to disparage the Oakland Athletics at this point. I think that I've done that enough, and I think I'm not the only one who's done that. I think everyone kind of realizes that this is a team that is rebuilding in kind of the scummiest way. And for the scummiest reasons. I don't even think they're really trying to build up a contender to bring a championship to Oakland. I think they're trying to very cheaply build up talent so that they'll have a credible team to sell to Las Vegas in 2 years. It's pretty hard to feel good about that from any angle. But when it comes right down to it, what it means is that this team is running out Sean Murphy, who's a pretty good catcher, and some guys. Tony Kemp, Jed Lowry, Billy McKinney, Murderers Row they ain't. So I'm not exactly dismissing Stripling pitching really well for the first 2 innings, but I'm saying, yeah, he pitched really well for the first 2 innings and faced a pretty weak sauce lineup. Bottom of the second rolls around, and oh boy, it's my time to do my favorite thing again. Raimel Tapia gets on board with a sharply hit single. He had a couple of those tonight. Nice game, Raimel. And that brings up to the plate, oh, my boy, my champion, Santiago, wait for it, Espinal, who hooks a double down the left field line. That is his 3rd double of the season already. That is his 3rd RBI double of the season already. That is his 3rd RBI double to score a runner from first base already. Baseball. Just bananas. That puts the Blue Jays up 2-0, a lead that they would, spoiler alert, never relinquish. Things stayed that way for a while, so I want to wrap up Ross Stripling here. 4 shutout innings, really solid, pounded the strike zone, did exactly what you want a bulk reliever to do. Eat up innings and keep your team in the game. And he did better than that. 4 shutout innings, really, really nice work. Gave up a couple hits, but was never in any serious trouble. About the best that outing could have gone. So great job, Ross. The star of this game is the bullpen collectively, who held Oakland down for the entire game and never really gave them much air. But I would be absolutely remiss if I didn't highlight and bold and put stars around and maybe break out the glitter glue for the Zach Collins Redemption Tour. My goodness. I've been ragging on this guy for the entire time that I've known he existed. And you can't really blame me. He looked terrible. He looked like a guy who'd never played baseball before in his life. Well, today he looks like a baseball player. He looks like the kind of guy that someone like Ross Atkins might go out and try to acquire. In the bottom of the 6th, we start off with some not-so-clutch hitting from the Blue Jays. Lourdes Gurriel leads off with a single, Matt Chapman follows with a walk. Alejandro Kirk is brought in as a pinch hitter, and I guess it makes sense. He had 2 hits in the last game against New York. Looks like he's finally rounding into form with the bat, so maybe he can get something here. Problem is that if he hits a ground ball, he's an automatic double play, which would take the wind entirely out of the sails this inning, and that's what happens. Just a bog standard rollover ground ball to shortstop that turns into 2 outs and a runner on third. Ugh, that's disappointing. It also continues to fit with the problems the Blue Jays have had for the whole season so far, hitting with runners in scoring position. Clutch hitting is not our friend at the moment. One of my low-key favorite moments of the game happens right then, though. An intentional walk to Santiago Espinal. How's that for respect? I don't know what the Vegas odds are on Santiago Espinal receiving an intentional walk ever, but he did it. It happened. I saw it happen with my own 2 eyes. a beautiful moment. Yeah, respect Santiago Espinal, that's right. But then, remember the Zach Collins redemption tour that I was talking about before I got tangential, as I tend to do? Yeah, Zach Collins, that's Zach Collins, the guy who looked like he picked up a bat for the first time last week, gets up hit, a hit at the major league level. Wow! What's more, it's a clutch hit to drive in a run from third base with 2 outs. Great job, Zach. Love it. Then Kevin Biggio strikes out to end the inning because, I mean, that's been happening a lot. But whatever, 3-1 Jays. Love it, Zach. Attaboy. Another moment for Collins came in the 7th with Adam Cimber pitching. Now, Cimber, great pitcher, probably not the easiest dude in the world to catch. So considering that he presumably met Cimber last week, Collins does a pretty good job here. However, Elvis Andrus, another name that makes you go, oh yeah, him. Oakland is just made up entirely of those guys, I think. Anyway, Elvis Andrus strikes out and the ball gets away from Collins, and it's hard to blame him on this one. This is a wicked rising fastball with a lot of lateral movement. And Andrus, well, maybe not as fast as he used to be, he's somehow, I think they said in the broadcast, 34? Yikes. Insert hello darkness my old friend meme here. Anyway, he's not the fastest runner anymore, but still more than fast enough to get down the line on a ball that gets away on a strikeout. But Collins, not only does he track it down quickly, he's able to throw an absolute BB on point to Biggio at first base. It was a really nice throw. I honestly didn't think he had a chance. Great job, Zach. That's 2 attaboys. Last bit of scoring happens in the 7th when George Springer leads off with a double. Way to get back in the hit column, George. Except, yeah, maybe don't put this in your highlight reel because Seth Brown, Seth Brown, I'm going to call him, sure. Whoever that is out in right field, I don't think he plays that position very often. He saw the ball the whole way. It was a ball that every right fielder in Major League Baseball should catch. And it just goes over his glove. He just didn't get there or missed it or just he didn't catch a ball that he should have caught. And that's the end of that story. Like, he looked about like I would have looked if I was out there playing right field in the major leagues. Side note, I'm not super athletic, so make of that what you will. Anyway, George ends up on second base and it didn't touch a glove, so it's a double and not an error, so fun. Bo does nothing, which is his story of the game, really. And Vlad gets intentionally walked, which is probably the easiest and fastest intentional walk so far this season, I bet. Bringing up Lourdes, who's hitting cleanup with Teo on the shelf, and this is the kind of time when he really needs to come through, if only so that people will stop intentionally walking Vlad. You don't have to do it every time, Lourdes, just every once in a while to keep him honest, you know? Come on, let's see a little something here, let's go. And then he does it! Because I told him to. A well-struck ball to the left field corner that bounces off of Tony Kemp's glove. Honestly, if he'd made it, that would have been a pretty insane play. Can't really blame him for not making it, although he's got to probably feel pretty bad about it. George scores, Vlad moves to third, Lourdes on second, it's 4-1 Jays, everything is comfortable. Chapman walks to load the bases, which at this point means that they definitely won't score, right? Yep, that's what that means. Bradley Zimmer strikes out, Santiago Espinal, not Espinal this time, grounds out to end the threat, and it's 4-1 at the end of 7, which is fine. It's fine. And yeah, it's perfectly fine, because the bullpen is just chef's kiss right now. A couple things to point out on the offensive side that are a bit worrying. First of all, Kevin Biggio. Man, just utterly lost out there. Now, his night did include a strikeout that shouldn't have been because it was a 3-2 pitch that was out of the zone, got called a strike anyway. That was pretty rough, so you don't really ding him for that. And he got hit by a pitch, so, you know, he got on base. But pitchers, even mediocre pitchers, are not afraid of throwing it in the zone to Kevin Biggio right now because he's just not going to hit it, and oftentimes not even offer at it. I stand by what I said a few days ago. I really do think that a trip to Buffalo is in order pretty soon. I understand that we're a little short-handed right now, and the idea of Kosuke Kato getting a whole bunch of at-bats maybe is not the most palatable thing, but at some point something has to be done because he's an instant out right now. And second verse, same as the first, I'm starting to get a touch concerned about Bo Bichette. Listen, the guy's a star, he's an absolute stud, and everybody, and I mean everyone, even Bo, is going to go through stretches where he just looks a little out of sorts. The reason I'm bringing it up is because his last at-bat of the game, he was the last Jays hitter of the game in the bottom of the 8th, actually. Cavan having just been hit by a pitch, like I said earlier. He's at first base with 2 outs. Bo gets to a 3-1 count. Now, it's a 4-1 lead. You're the last hitter of the game, presumably. This is a great chance to just kind of have a rip, and Bo Bichette is never afraid of having a rip at a pitch. He absolutely has no fear of swinging at anything. But in this case, he looked a laid-in fastball at like 91. He just watched it sail into the middle of the plate. It was an eminently hittable pitch. And then 3-2, that vaunted Bo Bichette 2-strike approach. Yeah, that involves putting the bat on the ball and making contact and fouling stuff off and eventually kind of fighting off pitches. This was a ball in the upper half of the zone, and it caught plenty of the plate, and it was absolutely at the letters. That's a pitch you have to foul off or at least take a hack at, and he just, I think, was hoping he would get walked. Like, he didn't even think about offering at a pitch that was way too close to just take, and that's not Bo's MO at all. He is aggressive. Not in this at-bat. If he was just trying something new, that's fine. If this was just a blip and he just wasn't focused, also fine. If this is a sign of erosion of self-confidence, I can't imagine how that's possible. Dude just exudes charisma and joie de vivre. But it's been a tough start to the season, and expectations are higher than they've ever been for him and this entire young core. And him watching Vlad seize those expectations and thrive in them, and having him not be able to do the same thing, I wonder how he's feeling about it. All of that is baseless speculation, and probably not even worth the air I spent putting it into a microphone. But I did it anyway. It's my video, damn it. I can do what I want. Okay, enough of the negative Nancy stuff. It's on to the positive, and the positive is this Toronto bullpen is absolutely lights out right now. As I said, 4 great innings from Ross Stripling, doing exactly what you want the bulk guy to do and doing it with aplomb. Another inning from Richards, who's been working a lot lately and showing no ill effects from that. In fact, his breaking ball was the sharpest it's been all year tonight. Solid work from Meza and Simber and Romano, and it's automatic. But the guy I love more than any of them, and you're probably going to guess this, Jimmy Garcia. Man, what a pitcher. Going out and getting a high leverage reliever is probably the greatest separation between amount of hype a signing gets versus how impactful a signing is. I mean, when most people talked about the offseason for the Blue Jays this year, I think a lot of people didn't even mention the 3-year deal that Jimmy Garcia got. I mean, he's a reliever. Relievers come and go all the time. Who cares, right? No, this guy is a real weapon. This guy goes out there in high leverage situations and throws strikes at the bottom of the zone. Strikeouts, ground balls. Strikeouts, ground balls. It's beautiful. He's already been big for the club. I see no reason to think that's not going to continue. Really big signing. Love him. And then Romano comes in for his 5th save, and yeah, the Blue Jays have 5 wins. That tells you something, doesn't it? It's really something when the Blue Jays had a 2-1 lead, and I never felt that they were in danger of losing. Now, part of that's because we've got a really, as I said, weak sauce Oakland lineup out there. But it's mostly the relievers came in, they were calm, they were collected, and they threw strikes, dude. They threw strikes. It's a beautiful thing to watch, and it's an especially beautiful thing to watch in your hometown team. The absolute definition of a solid win moves the Blue Jays to 5-3. A pretty good spot at this point in the year, I'd say. Tomorrow night, we go back to our regularly scheduled rotation with Hyun-Jin Ryu taking the bump for the Jays. Facing him for the A's will be, I don't know, some guy I've never heard of or a retread from 2017. Hey, is Bartolo Colon kicking around? Why not him? Let's get him out there. Anyway, that's it for this one. If you like this video, like and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching the channel. I'll see you tomorrow night. Take it easy.